this turn 1 speed? 145? 160. Oh no, my top speed? 146. 13 miles per hour on the front straight as well. That's like a second already.
That's how tense Jack got.
No, that's not us. AMS got so pissed it disintegrated off our wall. And then back straight.
Back straight.
135, 140, 150, 160, 165. He lifts at this bridge with like half the straights to go at 168. They ran out of gears, Us going all the way to the line here, 162.7. He's at 168.
Half a straight
before us. Well, you see, the TA90 really is supposed to be retiring. But before retiring, for realsies this time, I promise, we decided that it deserves one last great, phenomenal really, send-off where we give it absolutely everything that we could have given it and should have, in all honesty. It's earned it. It's earned everything, all the admirations and all the, customers' affection and your support as well. It's all added up into this one, frankly, insane and amazing little car. There's one last target for it to get, and that's to get back to the top step at Super Lap Battle Circuit of the Americas. Last year, us two got our asses whooped by freaking Amir and his NSX, and it's gut-wrenching because you don't think a 660 horsepower Supra is really gonna get walked like that. We've kind of gone back to the drawing board a little bit and had to think long and hard about what to do. We're gonna show you a couple of mods that we have been doing, most importantly a couple of power adders, and later today this car is going to AMS for a even bigger turbo. But before that, there's a lot of support mod that needs to happen. Under our carbon fiber hood, you will find the car now sports port injection. Port injection is actually very critical on these A90 Supras, especially if you want to make power with them. Our guys at a Counter Space Garage, along with our friends at Titan Motorsport, kind of figured out a really nice way to combine both what Titan started and what CSU was able to push on the track to put together this fairly intricate fueling system that's 2 lift pumps in the OEM tank. Both of them feeds the surge tank, in which there's a brushless pump that goes into this dual port regulator right here. One side into direct injection, the other into port injection, and then you can use the emotive reflex to control everything with the port injection. So basically, effectively, you've added the second computer to control the extra 6 injectors that's going into the engine, along with a DI, which is kind of maxed out at our race gas 650 horsepower level. Now this setup is already ran and proven, just to make sure there's no leaks, just to make sure there's nothing crazy going on. And AMS pushed our Alpha 6 turbo to around, wait for it, 697 horsepower. Which I was like, oh, I'm very happy with that. That's basically a damn near 700. And Alex is like, so if we change the turbo, it can go more, huh? And they're like, yes. Next thing you know, we snowballed into this. Let's throw a whole new turbo on this and see what we can get out of it. Alex said was, if we can beat it with only 700, it's great. But if we need an extra 60 or we didn't have it, what would you do? There's a bigger turbo available. Why not go for it? A bigger turbo also technically, yes, theoretically it's a little bit less responsive, but you can run it more efficiently. It can run cooler. Running the same amount of power level, a bigger turbo won't do it cooler than a smaller turbo because you're not working it as hard, right? I think that's how it works. Once the car comes back from AMS, we have a couple of extra upgrades to do. Between refresh, between things here and there I wanted to do to make the car a little bit better and double check it all for the whole start of the whole season. It's an interesting process. I want to bring you guys along, Most of the winter, this car just sat and it's been a bit long. It's been a little hard. I really want to get back into it. So every time I see this car, and it kind of brings back a lot of memories of what we were able to achieve together. So let's see what we can do with this year. And obviously, first challenge, Super Lap Battle.
We here at AMS don't make mistakes and we get it done.
Welcome back to PhD Lab, and the Supra has gone through quite the transformation. We are at 763 wheel horsepower and 680 foot-pounds of torque. That's over 100 foot-pounds of torque over a very, very decent area of graph. I should put the dyno graph somewhere, as well as a chunk more power. Really, the last time you guys saw this car on track, it made 660, and now we're going to show up at COTA with 760. If I can't get 1.2 seconds with 150 horsepower, I'm going to officially retire as a driver. It's just like come on, man, it's COTA. And there's a couple extra mods as we're going to get onto now. Very fancy pieces from Verus Engineering. Come check this piece out. This is the Verus, part of the Verus GT4 style air intake kit. So this piece is going to sit right behind the bumper, kind of like so. Fit it into one of these elbows, while the front of the car, right on the bumper, you're going to have this nice little opening. You kind of have it mapped out as I'm about to find some cutting utensils. But it's going to basically give you that little GT4 style look while also directing cool air to your intake. Now, it's not going to be quite exactly the same as your OEM style, because your OEM style is going to have an air box, kind of boxed up everything right here. So the more air you can feed it, the better. The primary purpose, since we have an open filter, you'd think, why would you need that, right? It's still about feeding the filter as much cool condensed air as possible. And so, as we're doing 160, the more clean air I can give it, the better it's going to perform, right? The cooler the IAT, the better. And I'm not really worried about under hood pressure and so on. And when we got that much hoods, vents going on, I will acknowledge that by adding additional vents, you are increasing the drag of your car, because that's just how it is. The more closed off surfaces you have, the less drag you're going to have, right? So we're technically adding more drag. It's probably going to help with our IAT, and we're going to test it. We're going to test that theory out when we do some testing with our boys at Verus Engineering this Thursday. And it's Tuesday, and the car isn't even prepped yet. So what am I doing filming a video? But I should probably get to work and mount a set of tires, and there's a lot of things to do. And obviously, Alex went on vacation, so it's only just me. I'm not complaining, it's just an observation. But here we are. Anyway, cheerful. Let's go. It's been quite some work, and I'm still working away. It's about 8:45 at the evening. But after a couple hours, the intake duct was in, and you can't really see it now that the bumper's back together, but I'll just quickly show you. I wish I could get a picture, I forgot. Next piece of update, CSG, Counter Space Garage guys, our CSG spec brake partners sent us some new brake pads to try for the Brembo Pista front kit. We've been running CSG pads for quite a while, and we love working with these guys because every now and then we can always take the brake data that we receive, whether it's temperature, whether it's actual driving feel by my test driver Alex, who has a very sensitive bottom, and he has a feeling for all the tinglings going on inside the car. So this new set of kind of front brake pads is a little less aggressive, but should help us, give us even more brake balance, better balance, shall we say, and that should help with working the rear brakes a little bit better as well. One thing that I finally decided to do inside the interior is the element fire, kind of the extinguisher. I don't know if it's the right word to call it an extinguisher. I don't know if it works exactly the same way, but either way, it's in the car. And I had one lying around, and I actually ordered one kind of almost a year ago now. But it was one of those things that never got around to doing it. But now that we did some extra wiring, extra modules to control the brushless pumps, felt like the right time to put that into the car and kind of balances out the weight from the regular fire extinguisher. Next step that we're doing, well, first off, I still got to put on the diffuser. That's on the list still. But we're changing out the rear springs. I think the handling of the Supra is very close to where we want it. Small, minute adjustments here and there to see if we can dial the car in better. And that's kind of why we're doing this new rear spring swap. We want to make the car gain a little bit more traction, and while retaining most of the roll stiffness. Now we have sway bars to deal with the rollness, the roll stiffness, right? But you also have the springs, which kind of both act for the roll stiffness and also for the weight transfer when you load the rear. Curious concepts we want to test out, just theories we kind of looked into before. So very excited about this process. I still got to do the springs on this side and then make sure the right head is about the same as it was before. We're gonna try to finish all this up, so tomorrow all we need to do is load the car and then it'll be ready for testing.